Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai. And I want to say peace and salutations to all the elders of Great Millstone, and all the elders doing this work with sincerity, and all the brothers out there doing this work with sincerity, because we are in the last days, the perilous times, and we have to get this right. And Hamashiach Yahushai, he's coming back for a church without a spot or wrinkle or blemish. I am serving Ariel, and I'm going to continue to keep the faith, staying faithful. And I'm going to do this lesson titled, Come and Buy of Me. And I'm going to start with the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 1 through 3. And it reads, Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yeah, come buy, Salakia, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. So Hamashiach Yahushai is telling us to come and get this living water from him, and it's freely given. He's not going to charge us to get it. It's not going to be like a university, like you have to go and pay $70,000 a year to get the world's wisdom, which is folly. Verse 2, wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. So he's saying to come and get what he has to offer in the Holy Scriptures, and your soul is going to delight in fatness. Verse 3, incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. So he's going to remember that covenant and that oath that he made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Revelations chapter 3, and I'm going to read verse 18 to 20. Revelations 3, verse 18 to 20, and it reads, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, and that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So he's saying to come and buy of him, so that you can put on Hamashiach Yahushai and walk in him, walk in love, and you put him on, and he's going to give you that eye salve where you can see things clearly in this society. That's why he made that statement, how he came into the world that the blind can see, and so that you don't be found naked. How are our people going to be found naked? Well, they're not going to have on Hamashiach Yahushai, and he also is going to put a mark of ownership on their forehead. So he's going to know who his people are, just like he said in Timothy. The Lord knows those who are his, and those that call on the name of the Lord, they must turn from wrongdoing. But you don't want to receive the mark, that charagma, or that chip that they're going to put in people's hands and foreheads. You don't want to receive that, because it talks about that in the book of Revelations. So you don't want that mark, but you do want the mark of ownership, the mark of Hamashiach put on your, like it says in Ezekiel, go through the midst of the city and put a mark. I'm just going to grab that real quick, what the mark he actually wants you to have. Let me get that in Ezekiel. I just passed it. Ezekiel 9. This is the mark he wants us to have. Ezekiel 9, starting at 4, it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which is the people, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. Now this is the mark, having the mark of ownership of Hamashiach Yahushai, putting on Hamashiach, not putting on the mark, the charagma, the chip, not putting that on. And then he says, and began at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. So he's going to be looking for his people when he comes. And you got to make sure you have a Mashiach on. You know, he's going to be able to see his people anyway, because the people of him are going to be walking in the light. You're going to be illuminated, like he said in Baruch. You know, I'll get that one in Baruch really quick to show how he's going to, what he does to his people, the elect. This is getting into the elect. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1, it says, this is the book of the commandments of Yahweh and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. So the ones that are doing this, then this is what they're going to get. Turn thee, verse 2, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. So the ones that are illuminated, the ones that are walking in Hamashiach, because remember he said in John 8, verse 12, I am the light of the world. Anyone that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So that's the mark that Ezekiel's talking about, having the light, having the illumination. But if you receive that mark, that charagma or that chip, you're doomed. So that's not what he doesn't want our people to receive that. Now I'm going to the book of John, chapter 9. The book of John, chapter 9, and verse 39 through 41, and it reads, and Yahushua said, for judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. So now he was making a point to the Pharisees and all of them, how he came into the world so that those that are blind can see. Verse 40, and some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, are we blind also? Verse 41, Hamashiach Yahushua said unto them, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say, we see, therefore your sin remaineth. So all he was telling them is if you're able to see things clear and see all the things surrounding you carnally, then why are you still in sin? That's what he was telling them. So if you're saying that you can see and see things clear, then you should be without sin. Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14 through 18, and it reads, wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and a Mashiach Yahushua shall give thee light. And verse 15, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Verse 17, wherefore be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Verse 18, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. So the Lord is telling us we have to be filled with the Spirit, be filled with the living water, because it said that for the law is spiritual. Just always meditate on this word day and night. Always make time to get into the word. The book of First Esdras, chapter 4, verse 34 to 40 in the Apocrypha. First Esdras, and I'm going to chapter 4 and verse 34 to 40, and it reads, O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course. For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things. So this truth it supersedes all lies and all things. Verse 36, all the earth crieth upon the truth, and the heaven blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. The truth, it tears people apart because this society is so accustomed to lies and deceits. So when they're hearing the truth, it just crushes their whole foundation. 37. Wine is wicked. The king is wicked. These rulers that are in power, they're wicked. They're pushing their false ideology, their false doctrines. That's wicked. Their wine is wicked. Women are wicked. All the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works. And there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. So the Lord said, they're going to perish in their unrighteousness with all these things they're doing contrary to the Holy Scriptures. And I want to say Shalom to Malak Lab coming in the chat. Yahweh Bashem and Mashiach Yahweh Shai Barakatham to you and yours, King. Verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth, and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. Verse 39. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards, but she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things. And all men do well like of her works. So this is it sounds like Colossians 3, how he said, there is no respect of person with the Most High, Yahweh, because he said, for he that doeth wrong, they're going to receive for the wrong which they have done. And there is no respect of person. Kind of sounds like that. Verse 40, neither in her judgments is any unrighteousness, and she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God Yahweh of truth. So he's all about truth. He's about just weights, balances. He's about equity. He's about justice. So everything about him is right. Going to the book of John, chapter 5. The book of John, chapter 5, and verse 63 to 65. Slovakia. Wait a minute. I'm in the wrong. Let's see. I think I need verse chapter 6. The one I'm looking for. Chapter 6, Slovakia. And it reads, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. This is John 6, 63 to 65. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Verse 64. But there are some of you that believe not. For Hamashiach Yahushai knew from the beginning who they were that believed not and who should betray him. He already knew. The one amongst the disciples that he had chose, he already knew that it was going to be Judas. Verse 65. And he said, therefore I said unto you that no man can come unto me except it were given unto him of my Father. So that's what we have to realize when we're out there on the highways and hedges and we're trying to get people to come and hear it. He made that statement. He said, no one is going to come except they are sent from the Father. That's the only way they're going to be able to come to this truth. The book of John, chapter 14, book of John, chapter 14 and verse 21. And then I'm going to jump to 24. Then it reads, he that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father. And I will love him and will manifest myself to him. So this is red letter. This is Hamashiach Yahushai saying, if we love him, we're going to be loved of his Father. So, I mean, this is a beautiful thing and a beautiful promise. Verse 24. He that loveth me not keepeth not my sayings. And the word which you hear is not mine, but the Father which sent me. So a lot of people, they don't realize what they're rejecting when they reject this salvation. And I'm going to stay in John 14, and I'm just going to go up to verse 12 to 16, and it reads, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. 13. And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. So, if we're taking the petitions up to the throne and we're being obedient, he's going to answer us. Verse 14, if you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. And we know that's according to his will. Some people may go off, get out of hand with that and start praying for hit the lotto and, all this stuff, which he may let some people hit it, or, asking for a new car or something like that. If you need a car, he said he will supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory, but just be, according to his will. Verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. And 16, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. And that's that Spirit of truth that's been abiding with us, that teaches us all things and then brings it back to our remembrance. Now I'm going over to John 17 and verse 16 to 20. And then I'm going to jump down to verse 23. And it reads, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. So he's making a distinction of the elect and all these other people that just don't seem to have the ears and the eyesalve to see, or the ears to hear it. As thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. Verse 19. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Verse 20. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. So the ones that actually will hear it and believe, then they can be included too, because of their faith and belief. Now I'm going to jump down to 23. I in them, and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one. Now he's talking about us all walking in unison, us with the Hamashiach and the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Let me read that again. I in them, and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me, and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. So that's the beauty of it, walking with him and walking with the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Book of Romans chapter 8. We just passed it. Book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 1, and it reads, there is therefore now no condemnation to them, Salakia, which are in Hamashiach Yahushai, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. So the ones that are walking in the Spirit, he says there's no condemnation to them. 2 Corinthians 10, book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, and verse 3 through 6, and it reads, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. So we're in this fleshly body, but we have to walk in the Spirit, because what we're dealing with is spiritual warfare. Verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing it into captivity, every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushai. And verse 6, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So we don't have to worry about the avenger, because that's going to Yahweh and the Heavenly Father and the Mashiach, they're going to avenge. He said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So we don't have to take matters into our hands. We just let the Lord fight the battles. Isaiah 52, the book of Isaiah, chapter 52. And I'm going to read verse 1 and 2, and it reads, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. So the Lord is saying, they're the ones that are keeping the laws and the ones that are not keeping the laws. It says, verse 2, shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. And this is what we're trying to do when we're out on the highways, trying to set these people free from the bondage and the shackles of their minds, to let them know who they are, and so they can come back to their first love. But a lot of them, you know, they're still in that mental bondage. So that's what Yahushua came to do. He came to set the captives free. The book of Luke, chapter 4. Luke chapter 4, verse 18 through 19. And it reads, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. This is what he came to do. And then verse 19, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. To preach the acceptable year to the Lord. So this is the thing. A lot of people don't realize what he came to do, but this is for the 12 tribes of Israel. This is for Yasharallah, all these things. Let me read this again. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, the ones that are going through all these trials and tribulations. Everybody's not going through all this. This is Yasharallah going through these things. To preach deliverance to the captives, the ones that are bound in prisons and prison in their mind, and recovering of sight to the blind, the ones that can't see. They can't see that we're in this matrix and can't get out of this bondage. He's trying to wake them up and give them the eye salve, and to set liberty to them that are bruised. So this is what he came to do. And a lot of them, they just don't want to receive this, because they're just, a lot of our people, the Salakia, my garment is moving a little funny. A lot of our people they just don't want to see, and they can't see. They just can't seem to see. And I'm going to go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 1 through 10. Salakia. Give me 1 second. Salakia. It's going to take a second here. Salakia for that. Now I'm going to go to the book of Ephesians chapter 5. Let's see, I just lost my spot there. Let me get Ephesians. Salakia for this. Ephesians chapter 5, and I'm going to read verse 1 through 10, and it reads, be therefore followers of Yahweh as dear children, and walk in love, as Hamashiach Yahushua also hath loved us, and have given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to Yahweh for a sweet smelling Savior. Verse 3, but fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints. So we're supposed to, that old wretched man or old wretched woman we used to be, we have to leave those old wretched people crucified, and we have to walk in the newness of life. And then it says, but fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints. Verse 4, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Verse 5, for this you know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man who is an idolater hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Hamashiach and of Yahweh. Verse 6, let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of Yahweh upon the children of disobedience. So that wrath is coming to all the people that practice all these things that Paul was getting into in this passage. And then verse 7, it says, be not ye therefore partakers with them. So you don't want to be hanging out and doing those things that they're doing that are contrary to the Holy Scriptures. Verse 8, for you were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. Verse 9, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. Verse 10, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. So we have to prove what is acceptable unto the Most High and his anointed Son, Hamashiach Yahushai. And I'm going to go to Isaiah 52, verse 3 through 7. Book of Isaiah 52 and verse 3 through 7, and it reads, for thus saith the Lord, you have sold yourselves for naught, and you shall be redeemed without money. Verse 4, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrians oppressed them without cause. Verse 5, now therefore what have I here, saith the Lord, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith the Lord, and my name continually every day is blasphemed, because they're not bringing out the truth and the doctrine that he laid down. They're getting into idolatry and false doctrines. That's why he's saying this. And then it reads, verse 6, therefore my people shall know my name. Therefore they shall know in that day that I am he that doth speak. Behold, it is I. Because he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Verse 7, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy God, Yahweh reigneth. So it's a beautiful thing for the brothers that go out and bring out this word in sincerity and in truth. He says, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings. So this is what the Lord is well pleased in this. Isaiah 28, the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, and verse 16 through 18, and it reads, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Verse 17, judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. So all the ones that are practicing deceit and doing all this iniquity and all these idolatry and all this stuff that's contrary, he's saying that's going to get swept away. He's going to separate all the sheep from the goats. Verse 18, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then you shall be trodden down by it. So he's saying then, he will abundantly pardon, like he said in the book of Isaiah. If a man turns from his wicked ways, he shall abundantly pardon. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, going to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 11 through 21. And it reads, for other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Hamashiach Yahushai. Verse 12, now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. So it's going to be an actual fire here. That's how this place is going down. The first time he destroyed the place during the time of Noah, it was with water. But this time it's going to be with the ICBM missiles and with the chariots. So if you make it through that fire, then you were being obedient. Verse 14, if any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. Because he said that in Revelations. He says, I'm coming quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Verse 15, and it reads, if any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Because all the stuff is going to get destroyed. Because he's, in order to bring a righteous kingdom in, he has to get rid of this wicked kingdom first. So all this stuff is going to get melted. Verse 16, know ye not that you are the temple of Yahweh, and that the spirit of Yahweh dwelleth in you? Then it reads, verse 17, if any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him shall Yahweh destroy. For the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple you are. So if they're in sin, you know, they're sitting there drinking, and like it says in Matthew, they were eating and drinking and partying, marrying, and doing drugs or doing all this fornicating at that time, they're going to get destroyed. Verse 18, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. So we have to become fools for Hamashiach Yahushai's sake. Yeah, they say, oh, those guys are crazy. We're crazy out there. Yes, we're fools for Hamashiach's sake. Verse 19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yahweh, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. He knows all this stuff they're pushing in this society is vain, is folly, vanity. He knows what it is. Verse 21, therefore let no man glory in men, for all things are yours. So if we're going to glory, we need to glory for what the Most High and his anointed Son have done. Hamashiach Yahushai. We got to glory in that. The book of Luke, chapter 6, and verse 47 to 49, and it reads, whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built a house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. Verse 49, but he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Yeah, that house was destroyed because it wasn't built on Hamashiach Yahushai, which is the cornerstone, the chief cornerstone, the solid foundation. Just a couple more. 1 Peter chapter 2, the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 5 through 10, and it reads, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and a holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh by Hamashiach Yahushai. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. So if you put your trust in him, Hamashiach Yahushai, you're not going to be ashamed nor confounded. In verse 7, unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, because he came into his own and he was rejected. But he became the most important stone of all. Verse 8, and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. So they were the ones that are falling out of the truth, not wanting to hear. He says they were appointed to destruction. That's what he's saying here. They were appointed for this. And then verse 9, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Now he's getting into the chosen and the elect right there, because the other ones he's saying they were appointed to destruction. Verse 10, which in times past were not a people, but are now the people of Yahweh, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. All praises to the Most High for that. The book of Revelations, chapter 3. The book of Revelations, chapter 3, and verse 5 through 6, and it reads, he that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. And then verse 6, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Verse 7, oh, Salaki, that's it on that. I'm going to stay in Revelations. I'm going to go to Revelations 19, and I'm going to read verse 8, and then I'm going to close out after this. Revelations 19, verse 8, and it reads, and to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. So this is what the white actually means. People saying they white when there's nobody white in the whole world. There's just different shades of brown people and red people. But if you get that white raiment, this is what he said. Let me read verse 8 again in Revelations 19. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. So that's what we want. We want to be clean, have that white raiment. We want to have a Mashiach put on, and we want to keep him on until his return so we can enter to the kingdom. And with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. I want to say peace and salutations to everyone that came in, and all the elders out there bringing out this truth with sincerity, and all the brothers bringing out this truth, everyone that was able to come in on the chat, and all the ones that were absent. I know some brothers could be out there on the highways. It's a little early, but some could be out there already doing the work. So all praises to the Most High for everyone that heard the lesson. I thank the Most High. Adawan Ratazah, Yahweh willing, we'll be able to do it again. And the Wada Abanawa for the lesson. And I want to say all praise to the Most High and Shalom.